Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Arietta making my second video of the day, trying to catch up to you guys. But this video is for day 2 of your 10-day packet given by the district. Today's tasks for reading and writing include 30 minutes of independent reading, where you read a book or article of your choice and you have to complete the reading log. Like yesterday, it should be a paragraph about the plot, the characters, what it was about, the theme, anything you want to say about it. It could be just your personal opinions about what you read. Doesn't need to be anything specific as long as it's a complete paragraph that reflects on what you read. Then for reading today, you actually have 2 sources that you're supposed to read that will help you with your informative essay or article prompt that we kind of introduced yesterday. So the first source today is source number 2, which is a blog entry, Our Great Garden Invasion. You're going to take notes and annotate the source as needed. Then you're going to read source number 3, Invasive Plants. Take notes and annotate the source as needed. For writing, there's not a lot to do today. Besides those notes, there's not a lot to do in terms of the essay writing. All you have to do is get a rough draft of your thesis statement going. It's also sometimes called a controlling idea, but mostly it just means that there is a clear point that your essay is trying to convey. So before you move on, before you get into the thesis statement, you need to independently read the second and third source in your packet. Like I said yesterday, you should do that with a highlighter or a pen or a pencil, and you're going to highlight or underline any numbers or facts or statistics that you find surprising, like you didn't expect to see that information. Significant, meaning it's big, it's important, or it's just relevant to the prompt. It's going to be relevant to the essay you'll write for the science club, as the prompt said. Once you have read the whole article, you should use that blank page for notes based on what you found in the fact sheets and on these 2 sources now. So what did you learn? How might these articles be useful for your essay? What did you notice? And what are you still wondering about? There might be some information that's still not really covered. So what questions do you still have? I'm going to give you a second. Pause this video if you have not yet done this, and go read those 2 sources, underline and highlight, and take some quick notes using these questions on the screen as a base. Have you finished reading them yet? I hope you paused there, because I'm moving on to talk about thesis statements. So your parents might be wondering how to help you write a thesis statement for this hypothetical essay. So when writing a thesis statement for an informative article or essay, it is important that you do 2 main things. Make your point clearly and precisely. From reading just this one sentence, there should be no doubt what your essay is about. If it does not say the words invasive plant species, you might not be doing it right. The other thing that's very important is that it's connecting all of the ideas. This can be done by 2 ways. You can either list what all of your body paragraphs will cover in a list with commas and an and, or you can keep it general enough that all of your body paragraphs will fit. You don't necessarily have to list the 3 main points you will make later. If you don't really know what your body paragraphs are going to look like at this point, maybe for now you just keep it general. But if from reading your 3 sources you have a pretty clear idea of where you want your essay to go, you can actually start with a list in your thesis statement. There's 2 things that you need to keep in mind before you start writing. Please, please, please don't write about your writing. In informative writing, you should not refer to yourself, meaning no I, me, my, myself, or we, us, our. And you also shouldn't refer to your audience too, just for good measure. Do not say you, your, yours. Don't focus on just one detail or example. So if you liked a specific quote or fact from the sources, that's fine if that's going to lead to one of your topics. However, you should not let that one topic take over your thesis statement, because otherwise your audience will get confused or surprised if later your body paragraph is introducing something that your thesis statement didn't include or leave the door open for. So don't get caught up on the little details in your thesis statement either. You can list the big picture ideas. Like we said in the stars and bars, you can list what the stars will be, but don't get caught up on the bars just yet. So I've written 2 examples. They are not examples for your essay. I didn't want to give you guys the answer outright because the goal is for you to write a thesis statement independently. I've chosen to make my essay about flowers, just so it's related to the topic you're writing about without being an exact copy. So let's say that I'm writing an informative essay telling about the benefit of flowers because the school is trying to consider whether or not they should plant flowers out front. A good thesis statement for that essay might say, flowers are a beneficial plant for any garden because they provide nutrition for bees and birds, make any garden look aesthetically pleasing, and might even result in produce. Now, there might have been some information in the sources I've been looking at that talk about how gardens make people happy. That would go into my body paragraph about the aesthetically pleasing nature of gardens with flowers. Maybe a source mentioned how bees and birds use the pollen from flowers to create honey or for nutrition for themselves, which will result in more bees and birds on campus, which will just liven up the campus. I don't want to get caught up on those details just yet, just the big picture. It's good for the birds and the bees. And then the last one might even result in produce. Now, I don't want to include a list within my list. I said produce because some flowers lead to vegetables like tomatoes or cucumbers. Some flowers lead to fruits. The type of flower is not important yet. The fact is that some flowers result in things we can eat or consume. So I said produce. Leave it kind of general. Don't get too specific, but I've still included a list. And now somebody who's reading my essay will know I'm going to include 3 body paragraphs, one about how it benefits wildlife, one how it benefits humans, and one how it's going to result in things we can eat. A bad thesis statement for my essay on flowers might start with, in my essay, I am going to talk about flowers. Do not talk about your writing. Do not write about your writing. You don't want to say, in this essay, I am going to discuss, we will reveal through this essay. Don't talk about your writing just yet. Just say what you need to say. So I said, in my essay, I'm going to talk about flowers and why flowers are good, which is because we like the way they look, and bees make honey, and some flowers make fruit and stuff. I've intentionally put a lot of mistakes in this thesis statement. So, for one thing, it's a run-on sentence. There's not a clear progression of the ideas. In the first one, you can see my claim, because, and then the 3 reasons. For this one, I said flowers and why flowers are good, which is because. It's running all over the place. It doesn't make a lot of sense the way it's presented. For the details that are listed, I said, we like the way they look. I meant to say they look. That's not academic speak, and we is again referring to you, the reader, and to the audience. Bees make honey was a specific detail from the hypothetical articles that I'm using. I could have said it provides nutrition for bees and birds, because that was probably the point of the source, but I focused on one specific detail, which is really going to make that body paragraph hard to write now. And in the last one, I said some flowers make fruit and stuff. Avoid dead words and non-specific words. Stuff, things. Yeah, those words, filler words that don't mean anything. Don't use them. You want to be specific, but you also want to be concise. I could have said fruits and vegetables instead of produce, but produce is more specific and clear. Fruit and stuff is not specific or clear. So try to make your thesis statement look something like the top thesis statement, not the bottom one. If you're not sure, watch this video with your parents and show them this section, and maybe they'll be able to help you write a good thesis statement as well. If you have any questions, or if you want me to judge your thesis statement, you can email it to me, or you can comment with your thesis statement, and I can provide feedback for you and tell you what you should do to change your thesis statement and make it better. So with that, that's the entire English section for today. I hope to post the next video soon for day 3 of your 10-day packet. With that, that's all we need to do. Have a great rest of your day and good luck writing those thesis statements. Bye.